Good morning, happy Monday. This is Bob Iaccino, Chief Market Strategist and Head of Research at TrendyTrade.com and TrendyTrade Pro. We are looking at an extremely interesting week right now. We've got Chinese stocks up for a second day in a row after a precipitous sell-off that we saw over the last couple of weeks. Now the bonds in China had sold off as well. The People's Bank of China met last week with two very important influential Chinese banks talking about reducing issuance. So it seems like they're making a little bit of progress again as we've got improvement in the Chinese stock market. That's good for global markets all around. Now we've also got a Fed week this week. We've got central banks from the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve, who has an interest rate decision, as well as the Swiss National Bank and the ECB. Now Swiss, Bank of England, and the ECB all have a monetary policy update, while again the Fed has an actual rate decision. Consensus is that they will be raising rates 25 basis points, and the potential for a March rate hike, which would be a second rate hike in this series in 2018, has gone up well above 50%. So we'll be watching that pretty closely. We've got crude oil up again. Crude oil was down earlier this morning, but up. There are some talks, some rumors out of some of the smaller players within OPEC that are saying they might actually start to have meetings in June as to when to end the production cuts, and U.S. production continues to rise. And then overall, we're looking for advancement on the tax plan. Hasn't been much talk about whether the U.S. tax reform plan has gotten any sort of traction in terms of getting to the president's desk in time. And last but not least, we've got progress in the Brexit talks. Brexit is moving on to the trade negotiation stage. Now, opponents of the way that Theresa May has handled the Brexit talks are saying that this is just a broad framework, that it's not actually an enforceable agreement in law, but nonetheless, this is improvement. Sterling's not really showing it, but they are moving on to the trade talks part of the Brexit negotiations. We'll be looking at all these things this week and anything else that pops up at TrendyTrade.com. This is Bob Iaccino, Chief Market Strategist and Head of Research for TrendyTrade.com.